And there it is, the official confirmation! Many of us already saw the writing on the wall with the leaked Among Us trailer, then a server maintenance for the Switch was for the 17th, and then Pioro tweeted a day before the official announcement. It was just too easy to see this coming! I'm wondering if Pioro will tweet any more cryptic hints before the Direct, and if he does, I'll try to add them in at the end of the video. I've already rewritten this enough times to be ready to add something else in here. So let's get our bingo cards ready and theorize what we could possibly see in the June 18th, 2024 Direct. Let's start with what we won't see, the Switch 2. Nintendo has told us twice now that the successor to the Switch won't be mentioned here, and that was a smart move. Now we can set our expectations accordingly. We can also theorize that any major titles will be saved for the Switch 2 in order to help give it a healthy library. So if you're expecting the next big Mario or Zelda title to be announced here, then disappointment is all you're going to get. Plus, we just got big Mario and Zelda titles last year, and I feel like I'm one of the only few to beat Tears of the Kingdom. There are rumors of a new 2D Zelda and a codename of Edward to go along with it, but details are few except that I don't think it'll be an Oracle's remake. I had discussed on my server that, hey, maybe it would be cool to get a Four Swords remake, but your guess is as good as mine. So what will we get? Well, let's take a look at what we've been getting recently. Remakes, remasters, ports, and in the year 2024, we've only gotten one original new game from Nintendo, which was Princess Peach Showtime. That's what I expect to see. More remakes, remasters, and ports, or ARBs as I'm going to refer to them for this video. Possibly a few new titles, and I'll go over the most likely one, and 3 announcements I'm hoping to hear about, but they are wishful thinking. In fact, let's just get those out of the way right now. We'll get our usual updates on some games, possibly when the final Splatfest for Splatoon 3 is, though we might get a bonus one later just as Splatoon 2 did, possibly DLC for certain games, though I'm not sure which ones, and possible post-content updates for other games like F-Zero 99. That was the basics. Let's talk about those 3 announcements that I hope to see, but we probably won't get them. Well, except maybe one of them. 2 of those announcements are related to each other, so let's go over them at the same time. A price cut for the Switch, and a return of the Nintendo Selects and Player's Choice titles. I'm very well aware this is wishful thinking, but logically it would make sense to do this. So of course Nintendo won't do it. It would be a way to make sure, or at least help move the remaining inventory of unsold systems and software before unveiling the Switch 2. Nintendo is very close to having the Switch be the highest selling system of all time, and a price cut could help them reach those numbers. The Switch has already had a small price cut before, going from $300 to $250 to $260, depending on where you shop. So if it does reach the all-time sales records, you can't say they never cut the price. And I just want to go ahead and show this. Nintendo, I bought these 3 games from GameStop because 2 of them are no longer in print, and it was a buy 2 used games get 1 free offer. If you had a price cut on them a while back, you could have gotten at least $60, but instead, $110 went to GameStop. No one wins! So yeah. Nintendo announcing a price cut and lower prices for their software would be a smart move. I doubt they'll do it, but we'll see. The other announcement is one more roadmap for the N64 NSO games. With what could be the last year for the Switch, and not expecting a lot of big brand new titles, they'll need to put out whatever can generate hype. And there's some NSO games we're still looking forward to. Will we see the classic Pokemon games on NSO? Man, I want that, but they seem determined to not give it to us. Could it be because of the Celadon slots? I'm going to say yes, as that is banned in some countries, and I can't remember the exact details, but that's a big one. If it's because they can't have them connect to Pokemon Home or use restore points, I'm fine if they don't! I just want to use them for Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. That's the only connectivity I care about for them. And maybe trading and battling online with friends. That said, I'm mostly interested in the N64 titles, as there are still some games we haven't seen yet. We might get those 4 other rare titles if that hint was anything to go by, 2 NES and 2 N64, but I'd much rather see DK64, Diddy Kong Racing, Banjo-Tooie, and Perfect Dark show up instead, especially Diddy Kong Racing! Besides a DS remake, that game never got re-released, and if we can get GoldenEye of all things, there really is no excuse for this! Speaking of no excuses, we are still missing Super Smash Bros., and I would love to see a few more third-party titles show up, like a Bomberman game that has multiplayer and Snowboard Kids. These could be the last games being added to the Switch NSO, so having a roadmap would be nice, but it'll probably just be a few titles they'll share with us. I think we'll see more stuff show up later on. I mean, we did just get 5 Game Boy Mega Man games, but in the case of adding new systems such as GameCube, DS, Wii, 3DS, and Virtual Boy if they run out of stuff, and even possibly other consoles such as the TurboGrafx, Sega Saturn, and Dreamcast, they'll probably be for the Switch 2 NSO. And with these announcements covered, let's take a look at what we could possibly see in this Direct. For which ARBs we can expect or hope to see, we'll start with the ones we've been hearing about for years. Insiders have said that ports of Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD have been completed for who knows how long? The better question is, will they bundle them together? Many would say, no, of course not! Nintendo hasn't exactly been cutting us a deal this generation, but here's my theory. With most Wii U ports, they were given at least one new feature to make it seem like the price was justified. Pre-story content, post-story content, all of the DLC included, even just straight-up new funky mode. Well, what about Skyward Sword HD? That was a new remaster, not a port. We've already had remasters of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, but the idea of just porting them over with no new content, plus stuff that would probably be cut because of the Wii U gamepad and Miiverse functions, doesn't sound like a good value no matter how good these games are. It's the same thing as when they bundled Pikmin 1 and 2 together, because these ports already existed with basically no new content, but now in HD to make the value seem better because of the bundle. The same could happen here if both don't get any new content, but the bundle will probably cost about $70 or so. Which, I'm sure anyone doubting the bundle would probably go, okay, yeah, the price makes more sense for these two games. I'm gonna say this has a good chance of showing up. Metroid Prime 2 and 3 have been rumored for a while, and if they don't get the big upgraded visuals and controls that Prime 1 got, then it makes sense to bundle those together as well. Now, Prime 2 might be tricky as that one has a multiplayer mode. Would it be taken out, updated, given an online mode? Only time will tell. Plus, with Metroid Prime 4 probably going to be a big cross-gen game, it makes sense to have something like this to help get the Metroid hype started for when Prime 4 is finally shown off. But I doubt Prime 4 will be at the Direct. No idea if they'll even give us an update on it. Though I do worry a lazily put together bundle doesn't seem like it would help build hype for a game that's been in development for, what, about 7 years now? If they get the big boy treatment like Prime 1 did, then they probably won't be bundled. But if it's a basic HD treatment, then it seems weak by comparison of the remastered first game. Personally, if it's just an HD treatment, then I hope to see a few quality of life improvements, such as the ammo mechanics of Prime 2. Let me refill dark with dark and light with light, please. And yeah, make the multiplayer mode online as well, without the ability to lock on to other players. Plus, with the Switch 2 rumored to launch next year, and Prime 4 is likely to be a launch title or launch window title, or a cross-gen game, it doesn't seem like there's enough time to properly give these games enough time to breathe. This is just my theory, and you're welcome to tell me if I may have a point, or if I'm completely off the mark. I'll say there's a good chance, but the chances of getting 2 bundles is pretty low. And I don't think it's likely we'll get 2 remastered Metroid games along with the announcement of Prime 4 in the same Direct. Although I guess a teaser for Prime 4 wouldn't be too far-fetched, but if they don't, it could be saved for the Switch 2 reveal. Now, those re-releases have been flying around for a while now, and to be honest, I think a lot of the excitement would come from, hey, we finally got them! And we've already seen these games get re-released before. I think getting remasters from franchises that have been down on their luck would actually stir up more interest. And there's at least 2 that I'm thinking of. I'm sure you've heard of them, and while it's hard to tell if the rumors around at least one of them is true, these are remasters that many fans would go insane for! If Thousand Year Door and Mario RPG can get a remaster, then I think just about anything is on the table. Some exceptions apply. F-Zero 99 felt like they were testing the waters with F-Zero with the public, but it may have been a welcome mat for a remaster of one of the best F-Zero games made. I kinda wanted to have the stupidest name possible, but only because it kinda works. F-Zero GX AX DX HD. That right there says it all. It's GX with the unlocked arcade content, AX now easily accessible, with new features like online racing and in HD! Like I said, it's a stupid name, but if any game could be called something like that, it's F-Zero GX! Stupid name or not, please let this show up, especially since I think this rumor doesn't really have any leaks tied to it other than some insiders talking about it, and that's it! It seems like the most no-duh idea to do, but it's not a guarantee. Then again, almost nothing in this video is. I say almost nothing because with Star Fox of all things, we know about a new trademark. Not a renewal, but a brand new trademark altogether, which gives me some hope that we'll see a Star Fox remaster, or at least something related with Star Fox being involved. The question is, if it's a remaster, which one will it be? And thinking about it for a bit, I think Assault has the best chance and could benefit greatly from it. With Adventures, I feel like it would work better as a remake, especially since it could take full advantage from that instead of just being in HD now. They could cut down on the backtracking, put in some new combat moves, fix up some awkward parts in the story, and let them actually rework the last parts of the game, especially with the encounter with General Scales. I replayed this game again for the first time in years last year, and the first parts of the game are much longer than the later parts of the game. You can really tell they had to rush those parts to get the game done on time. With Zero, I would love a port that would fix things up, but replaying some of it again, I'm worried it's too attached to the gamepad that the amount of work it would take to fix it would be on the same level as making a new game. Guard suffers from this same fate, but worse! And the only real way to make it accessible is to make it a touchscreen-only game. But who knows? Maybe the Switch 2 will have something similar to those things, and we'll see a port of them for that instead. Leaving Assault the most likely one to get remastered of these games. Unless they throw us a curveball and remake, not reboot, the original first two games, but I think Assault is more likely. And no, even I don't want to see a Star Fox 64 HD. There's actually a lot they can do for Assault. For the record, this is just me thinking out loud, not what I expect them to actually do. Except for this part. They need to completely overhaul the on-foot missions. Those controls! What were they thinking? The engine while running and jumping on the ground could use a massive tune-up. Think something along the lines for how Splatoon controls, and that should give you an idea of how they should control. And now, the non-expected parts. Give us some extra levels that aren't tied to the main story. You know, just some bonus stuff that could be post-game unlockables. And add online co-op and versus modes! I think some online co-op missions for some of the levels, but made specifically for online, would be incredible! Imagine a 4-player co-op on levels like Katina, Saria, and Orbital Gate Assault, but changed to work as a co-op mode! As in, all you have to do is defeat all the enemies in a time limit, take out all the snatchers, help any teammates who have been taken out. You get the idea, just simpler objectives, but made for online or even offline co-op. Star Fox is about a team, so why have we never gotten a proper co-op mode for the series revolving around this idea? With the trademark showing up, I'm hopeful we'll get something Star Fox related, even if my ideas don't make it in there. From the way things are going, it looks like we'll be getting another Wii U port. Apparently there was a leaked patent for Kirby and the Rainbow Curse? Desperate for a Kirby game this year, aren't we? I would have preferred getting Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot, but okay, you make the calls. Some of you might be asking, how would this work? You needed the touchscreen to make the lines appear. How can they replicate this? Gyro controls is my answer. Move the pointer on the screen and hit a button to draw the line. And that's basically it. Otherwise, I can only see this being a handheld game as well. With this being another leaked patent, it makes it very likely to be shown, at least at some point in the future. We'll probably see Luigi's Mansion 2 again, and just saying, if we can get one 3DS port for the Switch, then why not another? You know, the one many fans have been asking for, including the director of the game himself? Of course, that's just wishful thinking with barely anything to back it up, but darn it if it isn't one of the most sought-after remasters we could hope to get. And it would be so nice to have controls that don't make our wrists crack. I've heard others talk about a potential Mario and Luigi remaster, as well as a Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War remaster as well. With Mario and Luigi, we've seen 2 other Mario RPGs get remasters, so this wouldn't surprise me, even though Alpha Dream is no more. And because it's Fire Emblem, I just expect it to show up. And that should just about cover the potential ARBs we've been hearing about. Looking back, that is a lot of ARBs. And I guess I should say, it could be possible to see even more of the NVIDIA Shield Wii games that China got, since those are already in HD. So maybe Punch-Out Wii and Donkey Kong Country Returns remastered, but we'll see if they already have enough to cover in this direct. As for completely brand new games, let's take a look at the Nintendo World Championship NES Edition as an example. That's just the NES Remix games with a new skin. I'm setting my expectations to games like this, with one exception. Rumor has it, there is a new Indie Cube game being worked on with Smile Boom. This all comes from a leaked codename of Banquet, and Superstar's codename was Buffet. While this could be for the Switch 2, I can kinda see Nintendo thinking, it'll be fine to have this on the Switch. I love Mario Party, but I don't think it's on the same level of system seller like Mario Kart and Smash are. Also, I heard this brought up somewhere else, but I just love this idea. Might not happen, but let's go over it. Smile Boom has made user-generated content before, so imagine a Mario Party game where we can make the maps and share them over the internet similar to Mario Maker! That just sounds so incredible! I really hope we see something like that one day. Now, if I could throw in one more idea in the hopeful category, Nintendo Land for Switch. Some parts would have to be reworked or removed, but maybe they could add new additions to make up for them, like Splatoon and Star Fox. And with online modes for the multiplayer games! That right there would make Nintendo Land for Switch a must-have! But there's nothing to suggest that this is being worked on, or we'll see something like it at all. Like I said, it's just wishful thinking since we did get Wii Sports for Switch. I'm sure we'll see some kind of surprise, even if it's not this. And finally, our third-party and indie partners! Trying to guess them all is going to be very difficult, but at least we can say because of the Among Us leak, Among Us will be there. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but I think Pioro liked a tweet about a potential Ace Attorney game. Possibly another Microsoft game, just not sure which one. Hopefully Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, so we can see how it looks on Switch. More info on Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble, since that is a Switch exclusive that is coming out this month. A Dragon Quest 1-3 remake that I think was leaked, along with a leaked rating for the 20th anniversary for Beyond Good and Evil, which also had the trophies leaked for it on the PS5, I believe. And more info on Epic Mickey Rebrushed. In an earlier video, I brought up that gyro aiming controls wouldn't be there. And then this quote came out and contradicted that. If this really has aiming with gyro controls, I'm getting the Switch version. I'm just waiting until I know for sure if it's there or not before making my decision. I'm sure there'll be more than those, but those are my best guesses. And there we go! That's what I hope and kind of expect to see from this upcoming Direct. There's probably something I've forgotten about, but you can go ahead and tell me what I forgot in the comments below. I was going to make this a What's Your Opinion video, but with so little time before the Direct, I wouldn't be able to get it out in time without rushing it. But if I see any comments that got some big calls, I'll bring them up in the On My Radar video, where I'll go over the announcements and which ones I'm really excited for, so be on the lookout for that. So with all that said, I'll see you in the On My Radar video. Later, everyone!